Woo. Week 3, SSL Podcast, Sunday Smokers League Podcast. Man, oh man, what a season it has been so far. We got motherfuckers injured. We got motherfuckers out here in Germany. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of shit. But you know what? We're not gonna do all of that today. We're gonna go ahead and get right down to business. Talk about some of the matchups from last week, some winners and some losers. And we're gonna have a good time. I mean, I'm not gonna have a good time, but hopefully the rest of y'all, you know what I'm saying, will have a good time because this shit is real, man, for the socialites, man. This shit is real for the socialites. All right, let's get it out the way first. PJ Obi-Wan Mahomey laying the smackdown blowout of the week by far. Um, I don't even really know what to say, man. My team is absolute dog water, as Amin Ra would say. Like, you know how you got to get a stick to get up in the grooves underneath your shoe? That's what my team is right now. I try not to say too much, negativity about my team, but at some point you just gotta say, you know what, man, this is reality. And there's really nothing you can do about it. And that's where I am, man. And it sucks. So you can see right here, the lowest scoring team, the injured reserve socialites, who are no longer known as Christian Mingle, since Christian McCaffrey is in Germany somewhere. And Lamar was picked up free agent by this hoe ass motherfucker I know. A little greedy motherfucker. Took him 2 picks in front of me at the draft. That's all right, though. I picked up Anthony Richardson. And what did he do? He had 5 points. Yeah, 5 points is not going to get it cut in the SSL from your quarterback. Again, just bums bumming out. Jameson Williams, less than a point. I don't have to go through Jake Elliott 1 point, defense 3. I don't have to go through this whole lineup. You can see right here by this big 666, you should already known something was up. PJ didn't do too much better himself. He got over the 100 point threshold. Um, but man, talk about an ass kicking. I mean, shit. I feel like he took the glove off and smacked me in the face with the glove. So yeah, shit is real right now, man. And as you can see, no real bench bacon here. The Cincinnati cat, you know, who knows how to say his name? I don't, and I dropped him because I don't give a fuck how to say his name. And them 13 points wouldn't help me do shit anyway. So here we are, man. Injury reserve socialites looking down the barrel of the Sacco. The Sacco. The commissioner turned Sacco. Could you imagine it? I can't imagine it. The only saving grace I have is that Amin Ra, his team might be more shit than my team. And my team would be great if I didn't have these injuries. So fuck every one of y'all's teams. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart, the absolute pit, my soul. Fuck your teams. Speaking of, let's move right on over to the next sub 100 matchup of the week. And that was CDs versus Amon 1. Oh, man. Amon 1 was not on 1 at all. He was actually on 81 because that's how many points he scored. And Nico didn't do much better. He barely cracked that 100 points. But that's what he does. He wins close ass matchups. He beat me by less than a point week 1. He's 2-1, but I don't think he's very good necessarily. Fuck his team. And you can see right here, Dak Prescott got him 33 against Baltimore. Don't even know how that happened. But that was his saving grace. Quarterbacks must have had a rough week, at least for me, and I'm on one. I'm on one. My bad. I was told to get that pronunciation right. And you can see right here, you know what I'm saying? St. Brown, Naylor, Kincaid, Cleveland defense. Those are the only people in double digits. So, and I guess you can count Baker Mayfield as a quarterback guy. You're not going to get anything going if your quarterback is sub 15 points. And even then, that's a rough day. Bench Bacon, Aaron Rodgers with the 25 didn't matter. Dak had 34. You know what I'm saying? Ferguson at the tight end position. Yeah, there was a little bacon left over. Eckler, a little bacon left over. But I'm not sure that this would have helped him at all because, Jaden Daniels had 32 on the bench. Anthony Richardson has 5, but Jaden Daniels got 32. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. Good win, Nico. But as usual, fuck your team. And I'm on one. Do better. League slogan. Do better. Oh boy. Let's move right on down here to what many thought might be matchup of the week. And that was Allen the Family versus Just Hurts. And let me tell you, Just Hurts did not come to play today. One of the highest scoring teams in the league. You got to think some of those matchups would have been, pretty high scoring. Philly and New Orleans, both of them were putting up a lot of points. But it didn't come to fruition. Justin Jefferson stepped up. As you know, Justin Jefferson will, 81 receiving yards with a tutty. Devonta Smith came in there, 7 receptions. But, he's under concussion protocol coming in the next week versus the injured socialites. Yeah, man. Sub 10 from Pickens, sub 10 for Pitts. And, Buffalo's defense continued. Mitchell's had defenses each of the last 3 seasons, in particular last season when he had the Cowboys defense, and they are putting up 30 burgers, 25 burgers, 20 burgers on a regular basis. But yeah, I don't know if it would have helped. But when we talk about bacon, Cole Kmet with 20 on the bench. Sheesh. Yeah, that's rough. They just didn't come to play. 11 points from Jalen Hurts is about 6 more than Anthony Richardson's bum ass got. But when you got Josh Allen dropping that 40 burger, you got Rashid Rice coming in and having 23. You got Kyron dropping the 30 burger. When 2 people drop a 30 burger damn near, and you have another guy with a 40 burger, it doesn't matter what the rest of the team does. Mark Andrews can have a 0, and it's okay because, they make up for it. I guess Bucky Irvin could have went in there in that second Swiss spot, and I'm sure he'll be in there later on in the season. Yeah, not much to say here. This was pretty dominant by Allen the Family. And especially since he was coming off an 0-2 start, he was able to get on that board with a win. And starting 0-3 is just absolutely terrible. Ask the injured reserve socialites. 125 for Just Hurts, though, is not anything to turn your nose up at. There's guys that didn't even break 100. And only a 66, which might be a league low. I'd have to do some research, but I damn sure won't be doing it and reporting it on this show. But yeah, man, can't really say too much else. 166 points is going to get it done every single week, no matter who you are. And it was not even the league high. So we had some high scoring teams out here. Oda, good win, man. Good week. Nothing really negative to say there. Just Hurts, also a decent week. You would have beat every other team in the league minus Grateful Tron. Obviously Allen the Family and the Dominators, who we're going to move on to next. But before we do that, let's also mention that the youngster Jay Bravo would have also fucked you up. But that's not what this is about. Allen the Family, you did great. Just Hurts, do better. Moving on, talk about the highest scoring team, I believe, in the league. Definitely on this week. You got the Dominators. And even though Bravito's Way has been really clawing his way out the 0-2 basement, he got to 1-2 last week. The Dominators are 3-0, and they are truly living up to their name, the Dominators. They are dominating this SSL league, especially for a team that's been in the bottoms, just trash, garbage, sanitation. You know what I'm saying? The type of shit you don't even want to step on when you go to the trash chute. You know what I'm saying? There's maggots around his team. You know what I'm saying? It was just vultures just waiting to come pick at his bones. He was truly, truly trash for like, I don't know, 3 seasons now he's been here. But again, every dog has his day, 176 points. That's going to beat everybody every week, no matter what. And when you get a 40 burger from Jawan Jennings, man, you got everything working, man. 30 from Saquon Barkley, another 24 from 23 for Aaron Jones. You got the Jets defense who came out, put up a little 26er. Lamar Jackson, the thief you are, took him right up under my nose, dropped 28 for him. But again, that 28 was, second, third on the team in scoring. You can't say much about a team that drops 176. It was really, really special. And then to have a Dunze on the bench with 20 Bacon, the man could have really scored like, I don't know, 200 points. He could have joined the 200-point club, which I'm a proud member of. But he could have joined the 200-point club if he had started, Adunze and set Shaheed, who had a zero. And usually, most of the time, if you have a zero in your lineup, you're gonna lose. Oda Great was able to prove that last week when he had a zero from Mark Andrews, but still put up 166. Uh, there was some high scoring this week, and there was some very, very low scoring. And Bravito's way, you weren't one of the worst teams in scoring, but you definitely weren't one of the tops. And as a matter of fact, I believe you were the fourth lowest scoring team, which, out of 12, that ain't bad. But when you got, you know what I'm saying, Chicago, you know what I'm saying, Caleb Williams throwing his, first touchdown and he threw it to his boy. I don't know. He did all right. I mean, 109 points probably won't get it done every week, but you see some promise over here. Zach Charbonnet is definitely taking over that starting role out there with Kenneth Walker being hurt. But that's about it, man. Scary Terry, 18. You're not gonna get that every week. And then yeah, man, CJ Stroud with 12 points. Quarterbacks had really, really rough weeks this week, and there's really not much else you could say about it. Dominators, you dominated. Well done, man. Way to pull, your bootstraps up. Way to jump out of the Oscar, the Grouch trash can you've been in for so long. And you got it done this week, man. 3-0. With a matchup to possibly move to 4-0. Definitely had taken over the league early in the year. I applaud you. But again, fuck your team. Bravito's way, you did all right. But as you've noticed in this league since you've been here, the league slogan is do better. And I'm going to need you to do better, brother. Moving right along to, I believe, the third place scorer, 3-0. Bijan Robinson. I still haven't figured this name out. I thought he was going to change it weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago. But hey, you're 3-0. Don't change nothing. Keep it working for you. He ended up taking out the shit and runs. Mr. Stock Stizzle. Um, and yeah, man, the notorious DIC has not started 3-0 since his championship year, way back in 1989. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, 1998. Been a long time for him. 140 points, nothing to turn your nose up again. I believe he is in a little bit of a conundrum because Derek Carr, the number one fantasy player in the league, only had 10 points and he sat on the bench. So I have guys, like Amin Ra, who is, obviously you saw what he did last 2 weeks, and the notorious telling me that I should trade my best players for Derek Carr because he's number one. These guys have no idea about making trades. Uh their trade manners are definitely below par. They're the type of guys that don't even eat with a napkin in their lap. You know what I'm saying? they're very narrative driven, and they could paint you a narrative that it's healthier to eat Oreos every day than to just have a salad. I mean, these guys are delusional. So it doesn't surprise me that, one of the two of them, got whooped. But I will say, Bijan 140, you did your thing out there. Burrow came, dropped a little 30 burger. Jamar Chase dropped the 27. And then Green Bay D. Anytime your D has 20 or more, you're going to give yourself a really good chance to win. And they dropped the 32 burger. And that's going to do it. When you talk about bench bacon, like we always do, you got to talk about bench bacon. And, bad management, I guess, by the shit and runs, because they did have Deontay Johnson on the bench with 22. They did have Jacoby Myers on the bench with, 18 and 17 for Pittsburgh's defense. And that's what happens when you're in a conundrum. We talk about conundrums every week on this podcast. And when you have two defenses that you're rostering, it'll put you in a conundrum, and usually you'll make the wrong decision. And that's what he did this week. But if you look at the bench bacon over here, Malik Neighbors, who was supposed to be so good that he's in the starting lineup, was benched. And he had 24, but he was still able to get it done. And that's what Ramondre Stevenson having pretty much a 0 on Thursday night. Bijan Robin, your son, said that match on Thursday would dictate the way the matchup was going to go. And I don't think anybody saw that the matchup was going to go the way it did. Stock with the 22 out of Goddard, the 16 out of Breece Hall, the 18 out of Olave. Yeah, all of that was good. But let's look at quarterback play. Once again, 16, 17 points. The teams that did not have a quarterback that scored over 20, I believe they all lost this week. And there really wasn't nothing the Stockman could do about it. He just got outplayed. He got outscored. And yeah, the notorious DIC, man, got it done with 140. You're doing well. The best you've ever done since your championship season. I congratulate you, but fuck your team. And I mean that from the depths of my soul. And Stock, fuck your team as well. And do better. Just do better. Not much else to say about that as we move along. Moving along here. Oh boy, we talked about the suspect team's name with CeeDee Lamb on it. So we're just going to go down here to another team that dropped almost 140, and that's the reigning, defending Sunday Smokers League champion, Grey Poupon. No longer can he be called Grey Poupon because he's the reigning defending champion. I know it still doesn't sound right. I can't believe it. It makes no sense. I don't even outlier. I don't know what to call it. But when he comes back this year and he starts 2-1, it's hard to kind of deny him. JT, 26 points, finally broke out of that, whatever that was he's been in the last two games. 20 for Zach, 18 for Zach Moss. That just doesn't seem like something that's going to happen every week. But hey, when you start the right guys, you start the right guys. And when you got bench bacon, you got bench bacon. Which wasn't really much bench bacon to go around other than Brock Purdy. And here we go again. Let's talk about conundrums. Kirk Cousins got the start and he got 13 points. Brock Purdy got benched. He had 32 points. Again, if you're in a conundrum and you make the right decision, then you're fine. But if you don't make the right decision, we're going to judge you on this podcast every week for being in a conundrum and not making the right decision. Again, when you get 27 points from Seattle's defense, again, teams that scored over 20 with the defense, they won. Teams that had 5.16, like Peanut did, and 3 points like I did, they lost. But Peanut did score 120. A lot of the times that, is going to be a close matchup, whether you win or lose. Derrick Henry with the big 30 burger. Amari Cooper showed up and put 24 on the board. But that was about it. You can't get it done like that. Again, quarterbacks, what do we say? Under 20, probably lost. 18 points for Jared Goff. In a game where they just ran the ball like a motherfucker. And there's nothing wrong with that. Great Patron, you did well, man. You had the defense out there. You did have the conundrum, which, again, can't really fault the guy for having a conundrum if he makes the right decision. So can't turn your nose up, can't frown up, can't act like 137 wasn't a great score. Fuck your team from the most sentiment that I can offer from my heart and soul. Fuck your team. And Peanut, fuck your team as well. Uh, at a 1-2 start, you're mixing on a little bit of mediocrity. And again, you're gonna have to do better. We all know the league slogan. Do better. Start guys that are going to score points. Don't leave the bacon out there. Don't leave DeAndre Hopkins on the bench with 16, Thielen on the bench with 11. And conundrum, he solved the conundrum. But when you're in a conundrum, what are you going to do? You're putting yourself behind the 8 ball. So do better, do better. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for the matchups. Um, I don't think I missed anybody. Sorry ass Nico, I got him. Bum ass Peanut. Bottom of the barrel. I'm on one. Got him. Got Bravitos. Yeah, got everybody there, man. 100 points ain't gonna get it done, Nico. But who am I to say? It's 0-3. I'm 0-3. As we move quite along to get up out of this. We do have some matchups coming up for week 4, and there's some good matchups. There are some really good matchups. Uh, let's talk about these matchups. We don't have pick'ems anymore, so I'll just give you my picks of what I think is going to happen. The injury reserve socialites. Now, here's the thing against Just Hurts. Very high scoring team, done very well. They're going to lose some players this week, more than likely. But here's the narrative. All right, let me spin the narrative for you. All right, if if Anthony Richardson comes to play, finishes quarterback 5 or below, quarterback 7 either. Cortland Sutton keeps getting the targets he's getting. Devonta Smith doesn't play. James Cook in Baltimore can't quite get it done. It turns into a passing shootout. Kamara, doesn't score 5 touchdowns. Buffalo doesn't dominate my Ravens. I mean, there's in that world, I could win. I could win this week. I could get to 1-3, and I could possibly save my season. But if I go down 0-4, oh boy, y'all gonna get the podcast, but y'all gonna hear about it, and I'm not gonna be happy about it. I'm gonna take Just Hurts, even though I technically always pick myself. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Mitchell this week, and I'm gonna hope and pray that I'm able to do something this week and at least break 100 at minimum, just for my pride. Gotta break 100 for my pride. Moving on to All in the Family versus I'm on one. It's hard to pick them on one right now. It's really hard. There's not a lot of talent on this team. Uh Start sits have been, kind of iffy, and the conundrum. It's hard to pick anybody with a conundrum because you just never know what you're going to get. The bench is weak. It's hard to pick them. And we got shootout potential in Buffalo, or in Baltimore, Buffalo versus the Ravens. Another, well, maybe not. Well, it could be a shootout with Seattle and Detroit. But let's not waste time. Easily I'm going to be picking Allen the family this week to get the win. And let's just hope there's some good management on that bench from I'm on one, even though it might not even matter. All right, moving along. We've got Bravito's Way, the youngest bum team in the league. They're going to be going against Mix on Mediocrity. Bravito's Way is projected to score 100 points, which we don't give a fuck about projections on the SSL, Sunday Smokers League. But he's projected 100, and hasn't put his running back or his flex in. I think he learned that from me, because I just be dropping wisdom on folks. It's going to be rough. It's going to be a rough week. I'm pretty much gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go with Bravito's way. I think C.J. Stroud strikes back, bounces back. I think Zay Flowers bounces back. Hopefully, Jameer does not because I need a lot of Monty. And I don't know if Travis Kelce will ever bump come back. But there's some them options on the bench. You got Charbonnet in Detroit. You got a conundrum. Here we go. Caleb Williams against the Rams. Who knows what that could be? They've struggled. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to go with Bravito's way to pick up the win this week. I think they can get it done. But fuck your teams as usual. I want to make that very clear. That I don't give a fuck about your teams. So I've got Bravito's way in that one. Moving on. We got the probably matchup of the week here. Two 3-0 teams going at it. And boy, oh boy, it's going to be a good one. I'll be keeping my eyes on this one. Obviously, the tight ends are going to be the weak spot here. The flexes look pretty strong. Quarterbacks are looking pretty strong. Everything seems even here. I mean, other than Jawan Jennings, he's not going to have more than about 6 points this week. And we'll see if AJ Brown starts. That's a big part of it, of him getting a win this week, because obviously you can see that his bench is not great. You know, he talked all this DJ Moore stuff, and he's on the bench. He talked this Keon Coleman for Isaiah Pacheco trade, and he's on the bench. So again, delusional guys, and a conundrum. You can never count out the conundrum. For the conundrum alone, I'd like to pick the Dominators, and I'm going to pick the Dominators because they are the best team in the SSL. Obviously, fuck that team even more than the other teams for taking Lamar Jackson 2 picks before me. I'll never forget that, and I'll never forgive you, you piece of shit. I do love you, but fuck your team. I'm giving it to the Dominators. Bijan, I still respect what you're doing out here. And keep going, man. Keep on going. All right, moving right along. We've got the CD suspects versus the reigning, current, defending SSL champion, Grey Poutron. This is looking like an off week for the Poutron guys, and I don't see where it's going to come from. I don't see where the winning numbers are going to come from. However, I do see San Francisco getting up in New England's ass, big pause. And yeah, Dallas could end up in a shootout again on Thursday night with the Giants. So everybody will have their eyes open there. And Aubrey is obviously like what, the 7th best player in fantasy. San Francisco's D against New England. It's gonna be pretty one-sided here, I do believe. 2-1 teams. I'm gonna go with the CD suspects on this one. I think you can get it done. But I do want to let both of you guys know this is just in from my producers. They're saying to let you know as well to fuck both of y'all teams up. Fuck your teams. And yeah, man, that's from the soul. That's from a special place. Fuck your teams. But I do have CD suspects running off with this one. And then last but not least, we got the shit and runs versus the Mahomies. The Mahomies 2-1, man. The shit and runs 1-2. By the way, shit and runs were the Sacco last year. Let's not forget about the Pink Flamingos, aka the Pink Flamingos. Uh, I don't know. It's a rough one. It's a real rough one. But I probably will go with stock. I will go with the Pink Flamingos to get it done with against Obi-Wan. I just don't see where the points are going to come from. Having the 2 wide receivers on the same team is so weird. I just don't get it. And let's not forget that we have a conundrum. I'm not even sure if you call it a conundrum because Patrick Mahomes should start every week. So why do you even have a second quarterback? I'm not here to drop knowledge. Do better. And yeah, I think with the right start sits, I think stock the Pink Flamingos could pull this off. So I'm going Pink Flamingos in this one. So that's going to do it with matchup predictions. And with that being said, I want to just say from the heart, as commissioner of this league, I think y'all, give your all and you fight every week. But as an owner in this league, I cannot stand your scrub ass, bummy ass teams with your bum ass drafting who want to trade all of these bum players for everybody's best players, you suck. Fuck your team, man. Fuck all of your teams. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read off everybody's team that I hate and everybody's team that I feel the fuck your team mentality. So let's start here. Just Hurts. Fuck your team. I'm on one. Fuck your team. Al in the family. Fuck your team. Bravito's way. You cool. Psych. Fuck your team. Mix on mediocrity. Fuck your team. Bijan, Robin, Sons, Robin, Bijan, Robin Hood. Fuck your team. Dominators. Fuck your team. CD suspects. Fuck your team. Grey Poutron. Fuck your team. Pink Flamingos. Fuck your team. Obi-Wan Mahomey. Fuck your team. If I didn't make it clear that I hate all of you, especially since I'm in the basement, let me make it clear now. Fuck your teams. And that'll do it for the SSS podcast. Fuck your teams. Have a great week.